Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. All right, let's sync it up. All right, here we go. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to 2G1C. This is a very different episode. As you can see, I'm just by myself right now. So I thought that, we could do something a little different, just you and me. This won't be the longest episode in the world, but it'll be good. It'll be good. The reason I'm doing one by myself, basically me and my buddy Colin, you guys know Colin, we were supposed to do one online. And we did it, but it was kind of a clusterfuck. So that's why, I'm here doing one by myself. I'm with my little dog, Buttercup. You can see she's right next to me. And I actually think this works out really, really, really perfect. I feel like I've been wanting to do an episode kind of by myself. This won't be long at all, but I just wanted to talk about, where I am in life and a lot of the things that I've learned. Obviously, when I sit down with Mike and, I sit down with other people and stuff, I talk about, these things like, what's going on in life and kind of what I'm learning. But, I think by myself, I want to be real with you guys. And it's me talking to you, the listener. It's just you and me, not, anyone else in between. Lately being down here, things have been going absolutely incredible. And it just I can't ask for things to go any better. Today was probably the worst day I've had in a very long time. But saying that, it's still a phenomenal day. So basically, I had my first day off in a while. And so with my day off, a couple things I had planned. One, I was going to do the podcast episode with Colin. And then two, I had a camera that was supposed to be here. I bought it off eBay. So I bought a 1998 Sony Handycam where it takes the tapes. You put the tape in the side of the camera and then you can film stuff that way. And I was so excited. But I always get in my own way. When it comes to putting the address down on the website, I put everything else correct, but the apartment number. So now the package isn't here. It's in one of the post offices around here. So I got the notification around 10 o'clock this morning, and I'm like, man, I got to go get my camera. Well, me and Colin were going to do the episode, and then I ate breakfast and whatever, and I didn't get out of the house till 1:30. And so the one thing that you should know about Naples down here is it takes forever to get anywhere. So I go to the first post office, and I get there, and I'm like, hey, my package, it's being sent back to the guy that sent it to me because I didn't put my stuff down. She's like, oh, honey, you're at the wrong address. You have to go to the other one. So I go to this other one, and the post office closes at 3, and I get there at 3:05, and I'm not able to go in and see if my package is there. So tomorrow, I'm going to go and see if I can get my camera, which I am praying for because I've been waiting for this camera for a long time. I ordered it about 2 weeks ago, and it's still not here because I didn't put my freaking address down. If I did put it the right way, I would have it right now and I'd be recording stuff, but whatever. What are you going to do? And then obviously the podcast with Colin didn't go too well. Colin, I love you, dude. I love you so much, bro. And and this is not indicative of anything, but it's not something I want to put out on my channel. So, today with just you and me, I was going to tell you guys a couple things I've been doing. One, I've started reading a brand new book. Big Sean, the rapper, shout out Big Sean. I love Big Sean. He put out a book and it's called Go Higher. And when it comes to me and reading, I don't read all the time because I'm a dork, but every once in a while when a book comes out, with someone I like, I'm probably going to read it. So Logic has put out some books and I've read those and those are awesome. I love those. Matthew McConaughey put out a book. It's called Green Lights. I read Green Lights twice and Green Lights is great. And then this was another one of those instances where Big Sean released Go Higher. Now, when it comes to advice lately, I've been big into my faith lately, and being down here, I've also like, I haven't gone out and all that stuff. I'm no saint, but I've been doing a lot better to like get advice from the Bible, and just only take stuff that's from the book. You know what I'm saying? Because if you take it from people here on earth, you don't know if it's whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying right now. But with this book, I was kind of like hesitant because I love Big Sean, and the stuff he talks about is spiritual and great, and it's awesome. But at the end of the day, he is a rapper, even though he does know there is a God and stuff like that. I'm not finished with this book, but I wasn't super excited to read it. I was just like, oh, you know what? I'll give it a try. If I don't like it, I'm going to stop reading it. And I have loved every last second of reading this book. Basically, like, oh my gosh, this is going to sound so corny and not true at all, but me and Big Sean have a similar come up, and I'm not, and obviously like I'm still making stuff and I'm still doing stuff, but I feel like his mentality on so many things, is like the same exact as mine. So here, I'll open up some of the pages. And so usually when I read books, I just read them. But with this one, I've been going through and I've been, underlining stuff and whatever. But there's one chapter here. I'm sorry, guys. I will find it. But there's one chapter in here that I loved. I absolutely loved that I wanted to share with you guys. Is there's a chapter in here about money. And I think one of the things that, everyone doesn't really talk about, but I, do my best to, I'll answer that question when people ask, is like, when it comes to coming down to Florida and when it comes to caddying and when it comes to doing all this stuff, it all costs money, right? When it comes to doing paddle boards and when it comes to going to watch the rocket launch, it all costs money. But I'll tell you guys my mentality about money and all this stuff, and then I'll kind of read it from the book, is basically, in church a while ago, one of the things that they talked about how everything that you're given in this life is just a gift from God, and you do not own it. It's given to you from God, and so you use that to serve and do good for other people and take care of your family, okay? And so basically, before kind of coming back to church and whatever and all this stuff, I was always very frugal, if that's the right word. And by frugal, I mean like I didn't like to spend money. I got buyer's remorse. I freaked out. You know what I mean? Like, and I would get really anxious when I spent money. And then, at church, I kind of like heard that. And so one of the points that Pastor Jeff, shout out Pastor Jeff, kind of came up with was like, when you're being frugal about money, you're worried about the future, right? But in the Bible, it says not to worry about the future. It says to be fruitful now and be kind now. And one of the conclusions that I kind of came to that I've been trying out is, instead of being frugal with my money and trying to save or whatever, now don't get me wrong, I don't spend like a delinquent, and I still save so I can move forward, okay? And I still, what I'm saying, and caddying is wonderful. I'm very, very blessed. Very, very blessed. But more than ever before, I've been doing my best to give to others a bunch. And, a couple things I believe. I believe the more you give, the more you get. And second off, I also think that if you're worrying about money, then you're worrying about the future, which means you aren't present at that time. And if you aren't present when you're with other people or you're able to give to other people, then you're not being totally fruitful to those other people, right? If I'm with someone and I'm like, you know what, I could pay for their food, but I want to save my money. And then it's like, but then I'm not being the best giving person of myself around that person. And so I've started trying to give more and be a lot better about spending money and just being for others, but also never skipping out on experiences. And so the one thing I truly believe and have seen come to fruition, sorry, I need to slow down. The one thing I've seen come to fruition in the past couple months is the more you give, the more you get. And if you're more fruitful with those people in that present moment, the benefits that come from that are so much greater than the benefits that come from saving that extra $50, $40, $30. And so basically, Big Sean says a lot of things in here that I really, really like. And I'll read some of these quotes and then I'll interpret them in my own way, even though I'm a total stupid dork. He says, worrying about money is the easiest way to push it away and a big waste of time. Time you could be using to attract the money you desire. It's all energy. And it sounds a touch voodoo, I think, at the end when it talks about all energy. But I do think that's kind of true. Another thing he says is, I've since learned that money is a fluid thing. It's like blood. If you let it sit for too long, it coagulates and it's no good. You have to keep it flowing, and it takes money to make money. You can't be scared of losing money to gain money. And I think these quotes are very interesting because, in a way, I think he's talking about it as like, money isn't the most important thing in the world. And I know everyone says this, okay? But I love these quotes because when it, especially, gosh, I gotta slow down. I'm sorry, guys. But money is like a fluid thing. It's like blood. If you let it sit for too long and it coagulates, it's no good. And I think at the end of the day, I truly feel like an incredibly rich, grateful, wealthy person right now in my life. And it's not because I'm living in Naples, Florida or whatever. And it's because every day I wake up, I go into the mirror and I go, Avery, let's have a great day today. You're the man. And I go and I'm kind to everyone. And while I'm working, I'm super kind. And people recognize that and they love that. And then I get home, or even on my days off, and I go do awesome stuff. Awesome things. And I've truly learned that, especially with coming down to Florida, that the more you give, the more you get. But you also have to take every opportunity. And I truly think that God is a provider in this sense. Money has been really good down here. I'm not trying to flex. This sounds so whack. But money's been really good down here. And it's like times where I'm really stressed out about money and like making it whatever. And then I say a little prayer to myself and I go, God's a provider and I can trust in that. But as long as I do his will, you know what I mean? And lately I've been so provided for and it's been incredible. And kind of like Big Sean says, if you let money sit for too long, it coagulates and no good. If you take your money and you don't spend it on others and you kind of want to miss out on experiences because you think you're going to cut it too close or whatever, then that money sits in the account and it doesn't do anything and it's not worth anything. Like they say in stocks, they say it's not a loss till you sell. Well, I think with money, it's not a win until you spend, okay? And down here, whenever I'm approached with an experience, like going to see the rocket launch or going paddleboard, I always think that I'm using that money wisely, right? It's not a win until you spend. And I feel like every time I spend money, especially when it's on others and when it's giving to others and when it kind of helps my vision, like I bought the new camera, and then I also bought those new Meta sunglasses with like the camera in them because I want to like make some stuff. I'm not going to tell you what I want to make because I don't want anyone to steal my idea. But like when I spend money on things like that, and when it's for someone else, I don't get buyer's remorse. You know what I mean? I feel whole and I feel good, and I'm not regretful of spending any money. Now, obviously, are there times where, like, I'll buy something really stupid that I don't need or whatever, and then, like, a day later, I'm like, man, that was whack? Yes. But for the most part, like, I think that the fruit that comes from, or how about this? Big Sean says in one of his songs, I'd rather be the one giving than the one saying thanks. And I think about that a lot. And I truly think that is... I think that's true, with being down here. And listen, I'm not tooting my own horn and saying I'm God's gift to earth and I give everything, because I still make sure I take care of myself. But two things, and just like I said before, like they say in stocks, excuse me, it's not a loss till you sell, but I think in life it's not a win till you spend. Money that sits isn't working. If it's in something that grows and makes more money, it's okay. But if it sits, and isn't doing anything, then it's not worth anything. You know what I'm saying? And so sorry, one more quote. This is all over the place, but I have so much I want to tell you guys about this book. Is it says, "The truth is, there is no one-to-one correlation between how hard someone works and how much money they have. Period. There are billionaires out there who work an hour a day, making more money than thousands of hardworking people combined. I don't want to say the concept of needing to work hard for big rewards isn't true, but it doesn't always apply. I don't work hard at all. I go and I carry golf bags, and guess what? If the golf bags are too heavy, I tell them to take stuff out. That is a common thing in caddying. If the bags are too heavy, you tell them to take things out. And then I get paid really well. And that's a blessing. I'm not flexing. But I'm wealthier in the sense of like my happiness and self-health. I'm wealthier than 100% of people on this planet. I'm in such a good place right now. I'm so blessed. So blessed. But I don't work hard every day. I don't. And that's a blessing in itself. And I know there's someone going to be listening that, is going to be like, "Oh, but I'm working in a spot and man, it's so whack and whatever." And this is what I'll say, because I was there and I tried everything. I'll tell you all the jobs I have in order, and you guys are about to go nuts. Kasai, I washed dishes in the back of this sushi restaurant, and they didn't speak English. I sat there and threw my earbuds in, and I listened to music, and I washed dishes for 3 hours a day. And I got paid once a month. What is that? I got paid once a month. It wasn't the bi-weekly. It was once a month. And my paycheck was small because I only worked 3 hours a day. And then I worked at this restaurant called Crazy Chicken with my best friend Spence, who was one of the dumb boys that I haven't talked to in a while. And after Crazy Chicken, and Crazy Chicken was whack, I went and worked at SkyMax. It's a trampoline place. And then after the trampoline place, I went to wash dishes at Bob Evans. After washing dishes at Bob Evans, I went to Five Guys. After Five Guys, I found Firestone Country Club. And that's where I've been caddying back home, obviously, ever since. And then after Firestone, now I am a caddy at Calusa Pines. My bad. In between at the start of Firestone now, I sold insurance. So I tried all these different things. And the reason I love caddying so much is not just because it pays well or whatever, but it's very fruitful. I'm able to go and be kind, and I can provide a service and smile and make people's day better. And that's what I love. And when I left Five Guys, the one question I asked myself, because I love golf, and it would always be cool to work at the country club, but I was like, Avery, this is what you want to do, so why haven't you done it already? And for anyone that's working in a spot, gosh, I sound like I'm like a celebrity that I've made it or whatever, that they don't find totally fruitful. One, a couple things. Life expectancy is longer than it's ever been in the history of the world. So you have more time than ever to go find something new or change. Two, if you have a little bit of faith, not just in yourself, but in God, because God is a provider. He will take care of you. There is no battle that he will put in front of you that you can't handle. If you think that it's too big of a jump to go and work some new job or whatever, then I'm here to tell you you're wrong. All right. If you figure it out before, then you're going to figure it out now. Whatever. I don't even know what I'm saying. And three, as soon as you find what you're happy doing, use that to motivate you to really chase your dreams. Right now, with caddying, I'm able to work a bunch, and I'm also able to have enough to go and do incredible things and make awesome content. And I have a couple new shows coming up. Not a couple new, but one new show for sure, but I want to keep experimenting. And the vlog that comes out tonight, I'm recording this right before it comes out. This is so whack and it's so off the cuff. But the vlog that comes out tonight, there's a scene at the end when the rocket goes off. And it truly is one of the best things I've ever made. It's a short clip or whatever. but it's really awesome. And so right now, along with caddying and along with making money or whatever, I've been able to use that to chase my dreams. And there's a lot of people that never get to chase their dreams. I have so many people come up to me, so many people, and I tell them about the podcast. And they're like, man, I've always wanted to start a podcast. Everyone says it. And even if you're listening right now, I know that you've said it too. Everyone says it. And one of the things that, because I wanted to start a Dumb Boy podcast for a while, is all my buddies were like, man, we don't want to start a podcast. Everyone makes a podcast. I want to do something different. But if you are only going to do things that are truly original, then you're never going to create anything. Nothing in this world is truly original. And you're never going to do something totally original. It's impossible. Like Arnold Schwarzenegger says, nobody in this world is self-made. Everyone takes inspiration from somewhere. Everyone gets help from somewhere. And so I'm in a really good spot, guys. And there's one more quote in here that I wanted to read you guys that, okay, here it is. So in this book, Big Sean talks about Steve Harvey and like his rise to fame or whatever. And there's a quote that Steve Harvey said, because he said that it was very difficult for him to get to where he is and whatever, and there were a lot of setbacks. And he said, there's one guarantee. This is the one guarantee that Steve Harvey says there is. He says, if you give up, it'll never happen. Faith is everything, and God is always on time. He's never too late. And I think that's incredible. And I think when, Joel Embiid says, trust the process and all that stuff. And when, Steve Harvey says, God is never late. He's always on time. Trusting that has been the biggest thing for me lately. I've just been trying to make stuff and, put stuff out. And, like all the big creatives say, you never know who's watching and you never know whatever. But I've already made it. The only difference between me and the George Jankos or the biggest content creators on earth is they make a little more money than I do. But I'm just as happy. I'm just as motivated. And there are people that text me and they say, Avery, your last podcast or your last vlog was awesome. And if money is the only difference between me and what people consider successful, then in my eyes, I've already made it. Thank you for joining me for this little short talk, 2G1C episode 18, 19, something like that. On a past episode, I talked about coming to an end for season 1, and that's going to happen. I want to take a break. If I keep putting podcasts out forever, it'll start to get diluted and whatever. And like Ben Hogan says about golf, he says, if you just go to the range and hit balls all day, you're never going to get better. You have to practice something. It won't be like a super long break. It'll be like a month at the most or whatever. But I have a lot of big things coming up and I'm going to keep doing cool things. And I don't know exactly where this path leads or what it looks like. It's been a week by week thing. But if there's one thing I know is that God's a provider and his purpose for me is it's slowly revealing itself. If you guys sat through this whole thing, I really do appreciate that. This is, I like this, but also like I wasn't perfectly spoken or whatever, and I wasn't able to bounce off of it. Everyone, if we could get a comment in the chat for my little dog Cuppy, she's sleeping right now. But if we could get a W Cuppy in the chat here, look, say hi. Oh, she is so tired. You want to smell the mic? She is so tired. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been 2G1C. Thanks for sitting with me and Cuppy, and I think I like this vibe. It's a little different. It's a little more personal, and it's you and me talking. So I might do one of these every once in a while. So, but I appreciate you guys so much. So much more is to come soon. What? So many great things are coming soon, and I'm beyond excited to be down here, and thank you for listening. From me to you, thank you guys so much. This has been 2G1C. I'll talk to you guys next time.